Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. I'm excited for today's video. It's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays I try to test my palate, drink something not in my norm, and I think this fits the bill. It's a whiskey. So this is, I assume it's pronounced Speyburn, something like that, because it's Scottish. It's a single malt Scotch whiskey. It has been aged for 10 years. Let's see, matured for 10 years in American oak, ex-bourbon, and ex-sherry casks. This award-winning single malt was born of Speyside's natural elements embodying the rich, fresh sweetness of the region. It's 40% alcohol, so it is 80 proof. And it's a much, gentler yellow, almost green tea kind of a color. It's less caramelly than a lot of the whiskeys and bourbons I'm used to. So that's the biggest difference to me. There's almost probably why I'm saying green tea, almost like a green tint to the yellowness. Definitely a lot of legs. It's pretty looking. I like that it does look like it is a pretty color, but also again it's different looking than what I'm used to. So I like that. Let's get to the aroma. Very outdoorsy, and not that it has a salinity, but it kind of reminds me of being near a beach. There's some wet wood. That might be the thing, because you're on water and there's maybe driftwood or something. I don't know. It's kind of this wet wood thing, and for some reason it put me, which is so weird because again there's no salinity to it, but kind of ocean, oceanfront view kind of a place. It's interesting. It's not quite caramel. It's I've never thought sweet corn and caramel were at all close, but it's some kind of if you somehow, and it sounds disgusting if you mix those two things together. There's a floral, slight minty note as well. Now I'm getting more the independent. It's not super corn, but that's over here, and then these caramel, burnt sugar kind of notes they're completely separate now that I keep smelling it. Like I said when I did the Elijah Craig a few weeks ago, whenever it was at this point. I do drink some spirits, but really sticking my nose in there and smelling, I get the alcohol first, so it is me kind of getting used to that smell, and then what else am I getting in addition to that. And just it's not quite Cheerios, but there's just this grainy kind of element. Smells good. Let's get into the taste. Cheers. So I didn't really get much oak in the taste, or in the aroma. I get more in the taste. It has more of those sugar, whether just raw sugar, caramelized sugar, than any real corn. No, at least on that first sip. More of going back to how I thought it kind of looked like green tea, a very light tea that you put a decent amount of honey in, a little bit of raw sugar too. So it does the aroma. There is this floral into. I got more mint, but it seems more tea floral in the taste. Again, with a heavy hand of some sort of honey or raw sugar. Very much, in liquor for. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like you're gonna drink this and be like, oh, it tastes like a cup of tea. Like, there's a lot of things, and it's boozy and everything else. But like, that is definitely a note I'm getting. Yeah, real nice oakiness. Whisper of like this smoke charriness. It's got a fun aftertaste. Like, it's dry with the alcohol, not a ton of residual sweetness, but like there is some. So it kind of, like, I love sweet desserts. I've talked about this many times on the channel, but like sometimes, especially when I travel abroad, we're so used to like just so much sugar in our culture here. Be like, you'll have like a dessert, and it's not particularly sweet by American standards. It's like that kind of a thing where it's like, oh, it's desserty, but in a very low sugary kind of way. Um, Soft vanilla marshmallow, like the outside of a marshmallow flavor as well. It's interesting compared to Elijah Craig, because these are the only two like bottles I have at all similar, which are not particularly similar. Um, I'm not getting like those spicy baking spice notes at all. I'm not thinking cinnamon at any point, so it's like really cool to. And again, these Tuesday videos really try to test my palate, really try to do something that's not my norm. And you know, you see me like struggling with this because I'm not used to this. When I did drink it, I was really not contemplating it very much. I'm like, oh, I like this, and you know, waited, you know, a certain amount of time as I was watching TV or reading or whatever, and then I took another sip. Oh yeah, I like this, and then I, you know, whereas right now I'm like, well, what am I tasting? What am I experiencing? What am I smelling? Right, and that's like really the point of this. And man, talk about like a learning experience for me. This has just been lovely because there are like familiar things, but like I had to really dig for some of them, and then they're coming across similar and different. Like right now, as I'm talking, I kept mentioning green tea, probably because of the look, but it really is more of like this the English breakfast tea specifically, and that's, I forget the name of it, but it's got that. You add that thing to it to make it that kind of tea. This has a little bit of that too. I'm really noticing the aftertaste. But yeah, have you had this before? Are you sipping on something that's not beer? Or beer, who cares? Comment below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both of those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.